Ladies and gentlemen, well, what I'm going to propose yesterday, important topics were covered from the point of view of the protection of the interest of children. So, first, on the protection of the interest of children, my predecessor was talking about protecting of the interests of the children, respecting its dignity and privacy in the era of the fast development of technology. There is no doubt that the use of mobile phones, and especially the so-called intelligent smartphones, tablets, laptops, online TV, which is also offering the possibility to use internet in various ways. So, as you are well aware, all these friendly technological solutions are very attractive indeed for youths and children, especially because they are so easy to use, they are visually appealing, they are fashionable. Children are very sensitive to the idea of having interesting gadgets. So the popularity of using smart mobile devices, as we professionally call it, is increasing. So now the question, what is happening on the other side? These user-friendly technological solutions which enable him or her to use various features, including the mobile features. And let me use a short technical term. This is a kind of software which enables to use a given feature. So, for example, a weather reading application or an app which enables you to take a look at the news, not to mention the apps for children and youths, especially the games or instant messaging devices or social media apps. So these user-friendly technological solutions may lead to the situation when children and youths are making their personal data available unaware of that. We have to remember that our children and youths boast that they are very technically savvy. You often ask your children, what kind of laptop should I buy, what kind of software should I install. So I think that given their age and their cognitive skills and intellectual skills, a wide technical knowledge, and often they are more technology savvy than we are. And we as lawyers have a problem with that. Also, sociologists and teachers have the same problem. We have doubts, or we are certain, that not always these technical skills are coupled with the increasing awareness about the data, personal data protection, and the threats that are connected with the use of mobile applications on various platforms and tablets. On top of that, the second problem is that children very often don't realize that they don't have to disclose certain data about themselves and their loved ones to do a given legal activity through a mobile telephone or a mobile app. So here we have the emergence of the conflict, a disconnect between an offer on the side of app providers or mobile shops because they want to generate the profits, and on the other hand, the unawareness of children and parents as well, what we are getting in return. For example, I can download this app for free, In the global economy, there are no free lunches. We always pay in a certain form, even if officially an app provider or developer is saying that we can download a given app for free. A good example are games. Very often, this is an in-app purchase system. For example, a developer or a shop is offering us to upload one level of a game, but if you want to get some extra features, some extra points or some extra levels, then we have to pay for that. And the developer or a shop usually does not inform right at the outset when they inform that it is for free. So there are these traps, marketing traps, in terms of providers of various mobile apps. And I wanted to show you some examples.
Examples of functions that are available in our smartphones. And according to the law in force in Poland, but not only in Poland, in the European Union as well, as Poland implemented into its legal system all the European regulations on protection of personal data, the relevant directive on the protection of personal data, and the Directive 58 of 2005 on particular protection of personal data on mobile appliances in the digital era. This is part of the Polish law on the protection of personal data and in the Polish telecom law, if I may just use the colloquial term to name this law. So a lot of personal data is protected by the law. It is any form of data which directly or indirectly identifies a given person. So all this data is protected by the law. It is very important for us to know how applications can be dangerous and to what extent they can infringe people's right to the protection of the personal data, the personal information. So on one hand, we have information on what kind of information applications can send to a remote server. So we have an ecosystem of mobile applications that consists of a number of entities involved in either creation or distribution of mobile applications. So, on one hand, we have the creators of mobile applications. This could be individuals, very intelligent IT specialists, programmers, who are able to design and create applications. This could be companies or corporations. This could be producers of operational systems for smartphones and other mobile appliances. Of course, I am not advertising here, but I have to say that Android is the most popular operational system on the Polish market. On the other hand, we have the OS system preferred or provided by Apple. And very often, without our knowledge and without our consent, mobile applications can gain access to data from our contacts, addresses, names of all persons we have listed as contacts in our smartphones, for example. Those applications record information as to where we are. This geolocation is, in my opinion, very dangerous. And there was a study performed in the US which showed that every fifth teenager uses the geolocation service. So these children can be easily located, which is convenient for parents who can locate their child at any given time. But we look at it in a wider legal context, and there is a serious threat of infringement of privacy and personal data protection rights of children who are consumers at this time. The previous speaker mentioned that a child is a subject of rights that are attributed to all people. What does it mean? It means that children have the right to be informed as to what kind of data will be forwarded to other entities or other users, and what will be the use that this data will be put into. A child also has the right to delete or correct or modify this data. And the next thing, the right to be forgotten. It is very important, and it is mentioned very often. Once you upload something into the internet, it stays in there forever. A lot of work is underway at the European level on the right to be forgotten, on the right to delete your data, to delete the content that you uploaded into the internet. And in particular, when it comes to children, a new regulation is currently being drafted that is to replace the directive on the protection of personal data. It is very important because this draft regulation finally includes provisions that are specifically targeting children. So on one hand, a child is treated as any other individual, as any other person, but on the other hand, we take into account the very fact that children have limited capabilities as to the evaluation and judgment of certain events, issues, and actions. And this pertains also to services offered for mobile applications. Those services and applications that are part of our digital society can pose a threat to child's dignity and may result in the infringement of child's rights. By way of a summary, I'd like to explain why these provisions of the new draft regulation are so important. In the draft, we can read that particular protection for personal data should be provided for children, as children are not able to protect their own right and their own data to the same extent that adults can do. And as for services that are provided in the digital society, including mobile applications, there is a provision that says that personal data of a child under the age of 13 may be processed only if a consent is given by this child's legal representative, parent, or another legal guardian. I will skip a number of slides, but I would like to mention certain issues that are important. Producers and creators of applications should pay attention to the age limits, and they should have a very strict approach to the processing of personal data they gather during the provision of their services. It is not acceptable that mobile operators or entities that sell mobile applications gather personal data of our children pretending this is market research. This is very important also if we think of producers of mobile applications. Sometimes they gather information, they gather data in order to target or profile their offer, their applications. We should also restrict the possibility to gather data in order to prepare behavioral advertisements and commercials that specifically target children and the specific needs and expectations. we do not have detailed, specific research and studies that focus on the protection and infringements of personal data protection rights of children and young people. Of course, we have general studies and research, but they do not offer information that is specific to children and young people. We have also recommendations and guidelines for children and young people prepared by the General Inspector for the Protection of Personal Data. These are guidelines for children, young people who will know better how to protect the personal rights, the personal interests and the personal data when using mobile applications. The most important things are responsibility and education. We are very ambitious. We want to build a legal culture. We want to protect rights and personal interests of each and every individual and of children in particular. Of course, a lot is happening in this respect on the other side of the Atlantic, in the US. Unfortunately, I do not have the time to explain those developments, but we have to educate teachers, but not only teachers. We should also encourage the preparation of codes of good practices prepared by developers of mobile applications. The right to information is very important, and it is very important that those who gather personal data, personal information should receive consent of legal representatives if a child is under a certain age. Thank you very much.